Hello again and welcome. Welcome to our Advent Vigil. It's Tuesday, the 30th of December, nearly the end of an old year, but for tonight, I want to share with you a reflection on the Holy Family and the hidden life. But first, let us be still. Let us just relax and come back to our heart. The heart is our teacher. It is the gateway to our soul, and the soul is the gateway to God. But first I share with you from Paul to the Colossians chapter 3, verses 16 to 17. Let the message of Christ in all its richness find a home with you. Teach each other and advise each other in all wisdom. With gratitude in your hearts, sing psalms and hymns and inspired songs of God. And never say no to do anything except in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father, Mother through them. And in Luke chapter 2, verse 40, we read, Meanwhile the child grew to maturity, and he was filled with wisdom, and God's favor was with him. After the infancy narratives, the Gospel tells us that Joseph and Mary returned from Egypt and settled in Nazareth. Beyond that, there is silence. Indeed, the only reported incident during the next 30 years is when Jesus stays behind in the temple to listen and to ask questions of the great teachers there. The life of the Holy Family is something totally hidden from our view. Self-evidently, they lived and worked normally within their little society. If you visit Nazareth today, you will be shown the town's original well, over which an Orthodox church has been built, which historically was the area one and only source of water. For the monument-weary pilgrim, it is a refreshing touch of authenticity. Here throughout those hidden years, Jesus, Mary and Joseph must have come to this spot for their water, rubbing shoulders and doubtless passing the time of day with their neighbors. Yet beneath the ordinary everyday existence, something extraordinary was happening. Jesus was being filled with the wisdom and God's favor quietly and unobtrusively. When he first began to preach in his own hometown, the reaction of his fellows to the gracious words that came from his lips was absolute astonishment. But this is Joseph's son, surely. They all told themselves. They were mystified, baffled, confused. How can this be a carpenter's son? Even as Jesus was experiencing in human terms the formative influences of a normal family life, he was also acquiring the habits of a prayer life. This we know from his continuing need throughout his public ministry to go off alone to pray. One spiritual writer who truly understood this interior life of prayer was Paul VI in The Pattern of Nazareth, an address he gave in 1964. He wrote, "Here, Nazareth, In this school, one learns why it is necessary to have a spiritual rule of life if one wishes to follow the teaching of the gospel and become a disciple of Christ. May the silence of Nazareth teach us recollection, inwardness, the disposition to listen to good inspiration and the teaching of true masters. May it teach us the need for and the value of preparation of study and of meditation, of personal inner life of prayer, which God alone sees in secret. Long ago, I copied this down as a profound spiritual recipe for those who seriously seek to know God. In this often frantic life, it is the people who have learned the value of silence who can remain calm and untouched by the pressures. Jesus is destined to have a very public life, followed everywhere by huge crowds, and finally, in full view of everyone, himself being tried, stripped and scourged. Perhaps these 30 years of quiet preparation within his family were that which enabled him, in the end, to cope with the 3 years of so public a ministry. In our modern world, where family life appears to have disintegrated still further with every new set of statistics, do we not need to re-educate ourselves and society on the value of silence and reflection, to gain spiritual nourishment and inner strength? I don't mean in the secular sense of obtaining self-awareness or self-fulfillment, or any of the other slogans that are bandied about, but in order for us to be open and to be an open channel for God to use us as instruments of grace to touch others. If the hidden life of Christ is present among us, that pattern of Nazareth can even today nurture the wisdom which deploys her strength from one end of the earth to the other, ordering the things for good. As in Wisdom chapter 8 verse 1 we read, "With you is wisdom, she who knows your works, she who was present when you made the world. She understands what is pleasing in your eyes and what agrees with your commandments. Dispatch her from the holy heavens, send her forth from your throne of glory to help me and toil with me, and teach me what is pleasing to you, since she knows and understands everything. She will guide me prudently in my undertakings and will protect me by her glory." What are those words saying to you? The words are full of love. The words are full of truth. And the words speak to the heart. So let us come to this place of inner knowing and discern what is the Spirit of God saying to you right now. Where are you at in your journey? Where do you sense God is leading you in your life right now? Maybe you don't hear anything. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're banging your head against a brick wall, praying and praying and praying, and nothing's happening. Why? Is it that you're trying too hard? Or maybe you have to take the self out of the equation and self empty of me and I and adopt the words we, including Jesus and you. It's always good to begin with a simple prayer. Lord, here I am. Use me. But be careful what you ask for, because He may just take you up on your word and use you to be an instrument of grace for the people of God. Be still, relax, and allow the Spirit of love transform you into something very beautiful for God to use. And God will use you if you are willing to trust God. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I've met so many on my spiritual journey, exciting, enthused, full of joy, and I've met the other type of pilgrim who sit on the fence waiting for the miraculous to happen, and then they'll jump. But until then, they wait, they procrastinate, they cogitate, and they go on waiting and waiting, sometimes till they're old and grey and wonder why they've been left behind. There's your answer. Sometimes God expects us to take the first steps. And when God knows that we're sincere and not disingenuous, then God will meet us halfway. But are we willing to take up the gauntlet? Are we willing to listen to that inner voice? Are we willing to do the humdrum chores every day and see those as tools of grace? Washing up for Mom, tidying up, doing the ironing, the weekly shop, taking the dogs out, doing a bit of spring cleaning, using your initiative rather than waiting to be told what to do. Let's just come as we are into the presence of God, and like Mary, sit at His feet and listen. Listen to the Master speak. What's He saying to you? I'm sensing in my heart the words, "Come you whom my Father has blessed, and receive the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of time. I have loved you with an everlasting love, and I called you, not you who called me. It is I who called you." And with those words, we put our trust in God, not in what we think we know, but we put our trust in the one who created us and who knows us better than anybody. So let's not play games as we approach a new year. Let's eat a little humble pie and ask forgiveness for our stubbornness of heart. Maybe we've not been stubborn, maybe we've just been ignorant of the truth. Maybe we've been fed a diet of fear, where there's a lot of guilt and superstition. Always best, when unsure, to go straight to the Master and ask the Lord Jesus to speak to you, as I've had to learn to do. because there are so many good people out there willing to show you the way. And I guess I listened to too many and got confused. And in the end, the only thing to do is to back off, close your front door, put a sign on it, do not disturb, switch off your mobile phone, unplug your landline, and converse with God. And if you're patient and you trust, you will hear him speak. Thank you for joining me. Good night and God bless you. And say a little prayer for me.